enormous police presence in and around the ground today emphasises that this FA Cup quarter-final is one of the most carefully monitored security operations in modern football. The crowd limit is 45,000, and Chelsea, whose fans are mainly at the shed end, expect club record receipts of over £150,000. While the Tottenham contingent are some 14,000 strong, and their standing supporters occupy the North Terrace. And the fans have just heard confirmation of this morning's team news. For Chelsea, Mickey Droy failed his late fitness test, so Gary Chivers continues at centre-half. John Bumstead returns in midfield, and up front Alan Mays replaces the suspended Colin Lee. There was a late scare when Steve Archibald of Spurs took a test on a groin strain, but he's okay, so they play the side which beat Eintracht Frankfurt on Wednesday. And what a contrast this afternoon between the two goalkeepers. For Chelsea, 17-year-old Steve Francis is still an apprentice, while at the other end, Ray Clements of Spurs will play at Wembley next week for the 37th time. And on the Tottenham bench, Keith Birkinshaw, whose team are still in with a chance at the beginning of this afternoon of winning 4 trophies this season. Referee is George Courtney of Spennymoor, who should know all about local derbies in London. He refereed the 1980 final between West Ham and Arsenal. Spurs are wearing white shorts borrowed from Chelsea because the referee objected to both sides playing in blue shorts. And it's Tottenham from the left in the first half with Tony Galvin to Crooks. Chris Hughton moving forward. Ardiles. That's the first shot. From a man who may or may not play in the semi-final if Spurs win this round. He's scheduled to go to Argentina on the 1st of April to join the World Cup preparations. I wonder if he would persuade Menotti to extend that stay in England if Spurs were in the semi-final. And the bounce was awkward for Tottenham there, but the ball carried. On quite a blustery afternoon, there's a breeze blowing, swirling across the pitch, and it certainly seemed to carry the ball through to Clements there. Here's Perryman. And Hoddle looking up and waving Archibald into space. Chris Hutchings, the defender, beaten by Archibald. And here's Hoddle following up. And Hazard couldn't make it. Galvin on the far side. Tackle by Locke. Hazard now. Back in for Crooks. And the ricochet comes out to Paul Miller. And Spurs looking for the opening. Hoddle. Perryman. And again. And Chelsea glad to get the ball away. Hoddle twice involved in that last move. Here's Fillery. Working it with Pates. Fillery again. Drive there by Alan Mays, who felt it was deflected. Mays, who's been to League Cup semi-finals with Watford and Swindon, hoping to reach an FA Cup semi-final with Chelsea. And he certainly seized his chance from Fillery's pass to hit that with his left foot. Was it deflected? He thought it was. Rhodes-Brown, what a fine ball. Mays this is. Pates and Walker are making ground in the centre for Chelsea. Walker's come near post, and Pates, and it came off Paul Miller. The ball in was good from Alan Mays. Clive Walker at the near post might have capitalised. Colin Pates tried to. Deflection off Miller for a corner. Hoddle with the header out. Straight back to Rhodes-Brown. Bumstead up. and Galvin for Spurs. It's been end-to-end stuff in the first half. And here's Hazard again in space. Here's Crooks. Hazard coming through again. This is Perryman. Oh, and Archibald goes in and Hazard goes in. And the ball wouldn't go in for Spurs. And they can't work out why nobody got a proper shot in. Chelsea are relieved, but they've still got some defending to do here. Archibald. Ardiles. And away by Pates for Chelsea. What a fine ball to Walker, who's got space in which to work. Mays in the centre. Fillery getting forward now. Still Clive Walker. And that took a deflection. And Chelsea have a corner. Strong, surging individual run by Clive Walker. It's come to Hutchings. Mays. And Glenn Hoddle blocking Hutchings. His defensive contribution was there to see, but it didn't matter actually, because the linesman on the far side had flagged for an offside against Chris Hutchings. Paul Miller now for the FA Cup holders Spurs. Oh, it beat Chivers, and here's Archibald, and Chivers got a foot in, and Archibald did as well. Well, Gary Chivers got caught, first of all, by that floating high ball. Archibald comes in, Chivers gets a foot in, it also touches Nutton, and Archibald with his left foot, the wrong side of the post. On by Pates to Walker. Now Bumstead. Referee had already blown, giving Chelsea the free kick. Fillery, who's been known to strike them from here. Three Chelsea players mingling with the Tottenham wall in front of Clements. And he wants them further back, the Tottenham players. Perryman is debating with the referee. Fillery wants to line the shot up. He's got Rhodes Brown to his left. He drives it. Oh, what a goal! Fillery produces the goal that matters for Chelsea. Ray Clements is beaten in a domestic cup tie for the first time this season. The first goal Spurs have let in either the FA Cup or the League Cup, and it's scored by Mike Fillery. What a shot! He waited his time, drove it with his left foot, and it flew through that crowd of players and beat Clements right in the corner. And the Chelsea fans have got something to celebrate now. What a good time to score if they can keep their nerve until the break. Minutes the record stood at, and Clements is beaten at last, and Chelsea get their teeth into this cup tie now with a vengeance. Well, Chelsea have beaten Liverpool. Can they beat Tottenham? And the referee blows for half-time, and the half ends on a high note for Chelsea and Mike Fillery. Spurs, the holders, go in a goal down, and the Chelsea fans have enough now to keep them talking throughout the half-time interval. John Neal, who's been to the 6th round with Wrexham and Middlesbrough as a manager, He's 45 minutes away from a semi-final now with Chelsea. Spurs with so much to fight for here. They don't want to lose their hold on the FA Cup. They don't want to lose the first of those 4 targets or their unbeaten 14-match run. Here's Hoddle. Ardiles, Hoddle. 4 in the middle for him. Archibald. Ardiles. It was deflected off Pates. Took the sting out of the shot from Ardiles. Villery. Perryman for Spurs. There's Locke's interception, but here's Crooks. Houghton. Tottenham with no option but to push forward. Hazard. Crooks looks to his right and finds Ardiles, who finds Galvin. Hutchings with the header away. Ardiles. Crooks. Appeals for handball by Mickey Nutton. Right on the edge. Now, will this be a case of the bite a bit? Villery now has got to help line the wall up, because Spurs have the free kick in what is normally the territory of Hoddle or Ardiles. Ardiles to Hazard, to Hoddle. Good save by... Oh, and Archibald! Archibald's got his first goal since he came back. It was a gift, really, but he was on hand. And unlucky Steve Francis, the 17-year-old keeper. The ball was played to Hoddle. The shot along the ground, Francis got his hands to it, couldn't hold it. And Archibald makes it 1-1 for Spurs. Well, all he needed was a goal, Keith Birkinshaw said, to bring him back to his best form. We shall see now. Both goals coming from free kicks. Underlining again the vast importance of set-piece play. Foul by Hoddle as the game gets a little rough. And Chelsea anxious to get on with it. Referee allowing them to do so. Ardiles. Well, that was a typical Archibald goal. He hovers around the 6-yard box, hoping for rebounds exactly like that. Ardiles. Perryman. Ardiles goes again. Oh, that was Pates with him. I would imagine every time a defender concedes a free kick now within 30 yards of goal, there are bound to be a few butterflies in the penalty area. The way the game has gone. Hoddle again to take. Up goes Miller. Oh, dear me. Well played by Villery. Not the best of balls to Pates, but he made something of it. Ardiles got back to challenge. Hutchings for Chelsea. Mays. Rhodes-Brown. Offside. And Tottenham got players back there. Hazard with a smile on his face. It's been a good-tempered match this, bearing in mind what's at stake. Well controlled by the referee and beautifully balanced at 1-1 between these great London rivals, Spurs of the First Division and Chelsea of the Second. Houghton for Tottenham. Archibald, little flick for Hazard. Hoddle moving up on the right. Hoddle's shot. Oh! What a goal! A beautiful move by Tottenham, and Glenn Hoddle fires in their second to turn this cup tie on its head. They came out for the second half a goal behind, and now they're a goal in front. And it was an educated move, which says so much about the Spurs. Little flick there, on by Archibald to Hazard, out to Hoddle, and in that space, he's lethal. Right across the keeper, Spurs are ahead. After 55 minutes, Fillery for Chelsea. Rhodes-Brown. And just when we thought the second half might be an examination of Tottenham's character, Glenn Hoddle's goal means it's going to be an examination of Chelsea's. The ground absolutely buzzing now. Walker. Here's Pates. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. This is Archibald. Well, Fillery never intended to do that. Here's Galvin. Crooks, it'll touch inside to Houghton. Opening for a shot by Houghton. Oh, what a fine save by the 17-year-old keeper. Chris Houghton foiled by Francis. After an extraordinary slice by Fillery had put Chelsea in trouble on the far side, Tottenham attacked. Houghton found room for the shot, and great reflexes by this emerging young goalkeeper who hasn't allowed the 2 goals to affect him, it would seem. Away by Nutton, it's going to come to Galvin. Oof. And the player who it struck was a Tottenham colleague who's flat out in the penalty area. Paul Price. Galvin. Look at the length on that. Hoddle. He shook off Fillery there. And he made room for Hazard. And they just can't stop Glenn Hoddle. Hazard the scorer, his second important goal in a matter of days. But Fillery lost out to Hoddle, and that's where it cost Chelsea dear. Because Hoddle set the chance up and Hazard buried the shot. And now he's had a hand in all 3 goals. And has made what looked like a difficult match for Tottenham into what could prove to be, thanks to Hazard's goal, a comfortable one. We shall see. They've scored 3 goals in the first 16 minutes of the second half. Fillery for Chelsea. And here's Walker, and there's Pates, and a chance there for... Oh, it's there! Alan Mays gets one back. Tottenham lost their concentration, and Clement's beaten by Mays. The ball played in from the left, and Tottenham didn't defend well there. Walker got a touch on it. It came back to Pates, his shot was blocked, and Mays beat Clements inside his near post. Wow. Chelsea with an instant reply, bringing this cup tie now to a crescendo, which seems to speak for the size of the occasion. The match has now met that. We've seen 5 goals, and who goes through to the semi-final? Well, thanks to that quick reply by Chelsea, it's still in doubt. Chipped in again by Hoddle for Archibald. Chivers this is for Chelsea. Now Rhodes-Brown to Fillery. And Hutchings. And Hazard. And Hoddle. Oh, given away by Bumstead to Hoddle, and he's found Archibald, and he's made room for perhaps a chance. Well played the goalkeeper, he forced him wide, but Tottenham are still threatening. Galvin. There's Crooks on the far post, heading it back, but not far enough back for Hazard. Good piece of goalkeeping by Steve Francis there to foil Archibald. He really came well, because if Archibald had put that away, then at 4-2, surely Tottenham would have had the lead they need. As it is, Chelsea are still in there with a great chance. And there's going to be a substitution. It's Clive Walker who is going off. Presumably he's taken a knock of some sort. An attacker goes off, and the substitute is Dennis Rofe, who hasn't played in the first team since late September, had a long injury problem. Oh, the dying embers of this cup tie now. Referee will be looking at his watch any moment to check that the 90 minutes are up. And it'll be a question of stoppages, as the sting would appear to have gone out of Chelsea. And Spurs would appear to be ending the match in their most measured stride. But not without a few hiccups along the way, I might add. Do they appear to be going into the semi-final? A fine cup tie, and Glenn Hoddle has a hand in the 3 goals which Spurs scored in 14 minutes, which effectively, for Keith Birkinshaw and his team, sealed this cup tie, that spell, and enabled them to go on with their assault on 4 trophies. Chelsea fought so well, admirably, in the absence of Droy and Lee. They played a major part in making this a memorable match. Hoddle thanks the fans. Let's hope they behave on their way home, because the players certainly played their part on the pitch, with a final score at Stamford Bridge of Chelsea 2, Tottenham 3, and Spurs go into the semi-final.